Okay, get yourself ready for your practice. So sit yourself on a lift and...
Is your mic on, Mike?
No, it's not. She'll get started again in a second. Sorry, we're just too busy chatting at the beginning, aren't we? Or I am anyway. Just bear with me a sec. Okay. Sit yourself on your lift. Just have a little wriggle about. Just make sure that you feel like you're sitting evenly. And then hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. So lifting the heart area up to the ceiling. Just look down at the floor, look at something that isn't moving. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top. And empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. Keeping your eyes still in the sockets, just to quieten down the brain. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste, lengthen from the armpits into the elbows. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Just listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just continue to keep your eyes focused on a distant object, even though your eyes are closed. Just keeping the eyeballs still in the sockets and just drawing the eyes down to look into the chest cavity. Breathing evenly and deeply. Keeping the eyes still in the sockets. Very gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then release your hands down to the floor, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just lift, hold on to your knees, lift up on into your chest, elevating the chest upwards, drawing your shoulders downwards. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then with an exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders across. Just keeping your neck soft, just looking directly forwards, listening to the sound of the breath, using the out breath to intensify the turn. And come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest. Take a deep inhalation through the nose, and then turn with the exhalation. Turn to the left. Just observe your body's response, the sensations of response. And then come back to the center. Just swap the crossing of your legs, so you do the kind of unnatural crossing of the legs, just so that it feels kind of different, so that you feel like you have to maybe reset the seat bones again. So just have a little wriggle about, just make sure that you feel even, and lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. So we can do a bit of an alternate nostril breathing to start off with. So it's just a pranayama method that brings in lots of energy to the brain and into the body, but it also helps to start to kind of clear out the sinuses a little bit if you're a bit blocked from colds or hay fever or whatever. So hold on with your right hand, just hold on to the forehead, and then with your thumb you just gently close the bridge of the right nostril, and then with the ring finger you just close the bridge of the left nostril. So remember, when we do alternate nostril breathing, you breathe out and then in through one nostril, and then you swap, and then you breathe out and then in, and then you swap out in. So it's always, you start off with an out breath. So when you swap nostrils, you start off with an out breath. That's a general rule for pranayama, really, that you usually, with most pranayamas, you always start with an out breath. Often the out breath is a normal out breath, and then a normal in breath, and then you start with the first exhalation. It's not always the case, but that's often the case. So you swap nostrils, out breath, in breath, swap nostrils, out breath, in breath. So like I say, you always start with an out breath. So just take some normal inhalations, some normal exhalations. We're going to start by closing the right nostril. So you start breathing out and then in through the left nostril. So just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So you might need a hanky if you're a bit congested. Just normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Just take a normal inhalation, filling the lungs from the top to the bottom, and a normal exhalation, emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom, a normal inhalation, and then cover the right nostril, exhalation, then inhalation. We'll do 10 of those. Make the breath forceful. release with an exhalation, and then normal breathing. So just normal inhalations and normal exhalations. Just come off your lift. Just come into cross legs. You can go into half padmasana if you prefer. Just have a block either side of your hip. And then lift up into the chest. We're going to do sukhasana. So hold onto your knees. Lift up into your chest. Lift in the heart area, specifically upwards. Drawing the shoulders down at the same time. And then reach under the underside of the right knee. Bring the right elbow onto the block. Leave your left hand on your hip. And then turn. Keep lifting up in the heart area. Turn the chest. Now at this stage you might feel like your left buttock bone is much lighter on the floor than your right buttock bone. So push the right elbow really firmly into the block. And then lengthen the left buttock bone away from that right elbow so that you can then access this left side much more efficiently. So feel that you're pressing down into that left seat bone. Turn the chest, reach up and over, keeping the arms straight. Look underneath the armpit and then just take deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe you start to notice that your blocked nostrils start to clear a little. And then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest, lifting the heart area upwards, keeping the shoulders down. Come onto the left side. So reach the underside of your left knee, bring your elbow onto the block on the left side, and then bring your hand onto your hip with your right hand onto your hip. Press that left elbow really firmly into the floor so that you can lengthen that right seat bone away, pressing it down firmly, lifting the heart area, turning the chest up to face the ceiling, and then reach up and over, keeping the arms straight. And then deep inhalations and exhalations. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevating the chest up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just take some deep inhalations, deep exhalations. You can move the blocks out of the way. And then just sit back on your heels. So sit on your heels, have your big toes together, your knees apart, and then lift up into your chest. Just breathe in evenly, wriggling into the inner heels so that there's really good contact between the seat bones and the heels, lifting forwards from the heart area, keeping the head lifted. Reach your hands forwards, keeping the heart driving forwards, keeping the head lifted, and then come forwards, spreading the fingers, spreading the palms, and then bring your forehead down. breathing evenly, deeply, keeping the seat bones down on the heels and lengthening into the arms, really opening the armpit region by drawing the armpits to face the sides of the room, gathering the shoulder blades together. If your head doesn't reach the floor, then put a block underneath it so that you can press down onto the floor and press the forehead skin into the floor, and then gather the forehead skin at the eyebrow region. Taking deep inhalations, deep exhalations in through the nose and out through the nose. Come up onto your knees, have your hands as wide apart as the mat, have your feet as wide apart as the mat, and then come up into dog down. Bend your knees if necessary to access the shoulder blade region. Work to straighten the legs. Pushing the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs feel as though they can broaden outwards. Draw the kneecaps into the socket, into the back of the knee. Lift up into the seat bone. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lifting the seat bone so you can draw your shoulder blades in. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Consciously filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Filling both lungs evenly. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Just drawing your attention inwards, drawn in through the sensations of the physical body. Observing if those sensations are even. So one leg, does it feel the same as the other? If it doesn't, then activate that leg more. Breathe evenly. If there's an area of discomfort, then observe the opposite arm or leg, and then just try and replicate that arm or leg that doesn't have discomfort. Finding that sense of equanimity and balance within the pose. Okay, and then just step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position. Come into half uttanasana with your hands on blocks or on a wall or on the back of a chair. Just coming forwards this way, coming halfway if you've got a bad back. Otherwise, we're going to go into full uttanasana. So align the edge of your feet with the edge of the mat, stamp the big toes into the floor, stretch out into the little toes. Lift up into the heart area and then raise your arms up. Have your arms wide to start off with. Just opening the chest and the heart to the universe. Breathing evenly from the bottom of the lungs to the top, breathing into both lungs evenly. And then hook the thumb into the crease of the elbows. Wrap your fingers around the elbows. And then hinge at the hips, driving forwards with the heart area, keeping the arms lifted, keeping the head attentive to the heart, coming forwards, lengthening forwards with the heart area, and then hang down. If there's back problems, then use blocks and come into half uttanasana. But otherwise, just stamp the feet into the floor, lift the legs out of the heels. And in full uttanasana, let the top of the body hang down, but keep the heart area attentive. Keep the head attentive to the heart area. Just breathing evenly and deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. Press in, lifting the thigh muscles up towards the top of the leg. Breathing evenly. Listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. And then release your hands down to the floor. Just come into half uttanasana for a moment. Lengthening the chin and the chest forwards, keeping the legs really firmly activated. The front of the thigh lifting up to the top of the thigh. Turning the front of the thighs inwards, lifting the thigh bone up into the hip socket. Projecting the chin and the chest away. So if you find it difficult to reach the floor, then have blocks for underneath your hands. Just be on fingertips with the blocks. Otherwise, just stay with the hands on the floor, hands underneath your shoulders. Keep your legs straight, projecting the heart area forwards. Bring your left hand into the middle of the mat underneath your chest, the middle of the chest. And then bring the right hand into the small of the back. We're going to turn the chest, but we've got to really activate the legs first and then drive the heart area forwards and then turn the chest to the right side. Just breathing evenly and deeply, just observing the sensations of the pose, keeping the hips level. Your hand is on your hip, so see if you can keep it level as you turn. And then come back to the center, just come back into half uttanasana, activating your legs, projecting the heart area forwards. Bring your right hand to the underside, just underneath the middle of the chest, and then bring the left hand into the small of the back. Activate your legs, project the heart area forwards, and then turn to the left. Rotating that left shoulder, so that right shoulder towards, or the top shoulder towards the other side of the room. Lost my left and right now. And then come back to the center, project the chin and the chest forwards. And then we're going to go back into dog down, but this time walk your hands away, bring the hands shoulder width apart, and then step your feet shoulder width apart. And then come up into dog down. You can let your head hang down, but keep the heart area lifting. Lifting the heart area to the arms, drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Just breathing evenly and deeply. Okay, and then just step your feet forwards and then come up into a standing position. Come into Tadasana. Just breathing evenly and deeply listening to the breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn your right toes in, your left leg and foot all the way out, and then come down into Trikonasana, keeping both legs really firm, looking up to the ceiling. Breathing evenly and deeply. Maybe again the sinuses clear a little as you look up. So just look down as your head over your foot. If it's not, then lift the chest, squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards, hit the back leg towards the back of the room. Turn the chest, turn the heart area up to the ceiling. Look up. Reach up, come back to the center, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. And then reach over, find the shin, and then look up. Keep that back leg firm and engaged. Push the feet into the floor, lift from the feet into the shins, into the thighs, into the hips, up into the spine. Lifting the heart area and turning the heart area up to the ceiling. And then reach up, come back to the center, bring your feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together, come back into Tadasana. Just breathe evenly and deeply listening to the breath. So you might want a block on either side for parsvakonasana. So just have a block on either side if you need it, and then lift up into your chest. Come back into Tadasana. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step, go a little wider than you did for Trikonasana. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out. Now this back leg, this left leg is going to stay straight. So tighten the kneecap really firmly. Activate the thighs. Turn the legs outwards like you would do in Trikonasana. All of this, these forward facing standing poses, the legs turn out. Bring the right leg into a right angle. Keep this leg straight and then reach down, find the floor or your blocks, and then turn the chest upwards, turn the top shoulder towards the back of the room, and then reach up and over. I went out of ceiling height a little here. So look underneath the armpit, keeping that left leg deeply straight. Lifting the heart area and turning the heart area to the ceiling. Pushing the arm into the knee into the arm. So again, another sinus clearer. If you look up and underneath the armpit. So treat yourself to deep breaths. And then come up to the center, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. So the right leg stays straight, the left leg bends into a right angle, and then reach down with the left hand and then reach over. So that's sukhasana action, isn't it? With the right arm. Look underneath the armpit. And take deep indulgent breaths. Keeping that right leg straight, tightened at the kneecap. And then come back to the center, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together, and then come back into Tadasana. Breathing evenly and deeply, listening to the breath. And then bring your feet hip width apart, turn your toes in, go into half uttanasana. If you've got a bad back, just bringing the hands onto the back of a chair or onto a windowsill or onto the wall. Otherwise, bring the thumbs into the crease of the opposite elbow, wrap your fingers around your elbows, extend your elbows up, and then come forwards, hinging at the hips. And then hang down in uttanasana. Keep the legs charged. Release your hands down to the floor, bring the hands into your hips, and then come up into a standing position. And then just come down into cross legs. And then just hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Now, another way of clearing sinuses is with brahmari pranayama. So brahmari is the sensation of your voice, and you hum an out breath, and you hum until the lungs are empty. So basically when the sound of the hum stops, then usually that means that your lungs are empty. So you can just play with that resonance. It's really nice to bring that resonance down into the chest, because you feel this kind of warmth of a vibration in the chest. Also, a really good way for singers to connect with their voices. So when you bring your voice when you bring the vibration of your voice into your chest through brahmari, then if you can replicate that feeling of singing from the chest, obviously using your diaphragm and all that, then your voice just is kind of almost more soulfully connected. It's really interesting. So you can resonate in the chest, you can draw the resonation all the way down to the tailbone, you can resonate in the throat, and you can resonate in the sinuses. The best way is to try and resonate everywhere. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to use our brahmari pranayama just to be in contact with the feeling of the sound of our voice. So you choose a low note because a low note is more resonant. So just the first time we do it, we're just going to have our hand on our chest. So just take some deep in breaths, deep out breaths. You can close your eyes if you want to. Lift the heart area upwards. Just normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Take a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, another normal inhalation, and then we'll hum until the lungs are empty. So it's a low note. And then normal breathing for a moment or two. So the more you lift the heart area, the more the body accommodates the pranayama, the more you can feel that that resonance drives around the body. So you have your hand on your heart area, and then have your hand over your sinus region. No, actually, before we do that, over your throat. And then a normal inhalation, and then and see if you can find that resonance where it sits in between. Just one more time. And then finally, with your hand on your heart, bring your hand over, just the fingers over the sinus region. And then again, a normal inhalation. And then release. Maybe it's harder to get the sinus resonance. Maybe you find it easier to find the sinus resonance. That I find that the trickiest. But with a bit of focus and concentration, you can find that sinus, throat, and chest, and then you can draw it down into the tailbone region. So we're going to do several cycles of brahmari pranayama with Sanmukhi mudra. So Sanmukhi mudra, your elbows are out to the side, your middle finger rests on the top eyelid and draws it down. The index finger attaches itself to the top of the middle finger. The ring finger and the little finger stay connected, and the ring finger just closes very slightly the bridge of the nose, and then the thumbs come into the flaps of the ears. So we're going to do several cycles of brahmari, trying to keep that resonance in, moving around and filling the body. So a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, and then a normal inhalation. Then we do 5 or 6. just complete the cycle that you're on, and then release your face. Your eyes might be slightly blurry for a short time. Don't worry about that, they'll recover. And then come back to normal breathing. Just feel the resonance around the chest and the head and the throat, maybe down into the tailbone. Just observe that resonance, maintaining it as we stay. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Feel that lightness of energy where brahmari was. Lift the heart area up to the ceiling. And then very gently turn to the right side without disturbing your energy. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest. And then turn to the left. Keeping your eyes open and attentive to the inside rather than the outside. And then come back to the center. Stay in cross legs for a moment, holding onto your knees, lifting up into the chest, just enjoying that feeling of serenity. Okay, and then just come down onto your back. Have a block underneath your back for setubandha. So we're just going to stay up for a moment. So gather the shoulder blades together, come right up onto the tops of the shoulders, and then have the block in the tailbone, sacrum region. Grip the sides of your mat, turn the crease of the elbows up to face the ceiling, and then stretch out into the legs. Breathing evenly, just stretching out the front of the body. And then just bend your knees, bring your feet back onto close to this block, and then lift the seat bones upwards, and then adjust your shoulders as you come down. Just pull your knees in towards your chest, just a little rock from side to side. And then just rock yourself up into a seated position. Get a blanket for your head. Just move equipment out of the way so that you stretch out without feeling constricted. Blanket right into the back of your neck. And then make sure you're in a good straight line. And then allow yourself to release into the floor. Just giving yourself permission to relax. Letting go of the limbs, unhooking the muscles, so that the body becomes heavy. And out of that heaviness emerges an energy that radiates out through the bones, into the muscle, into the flesh and the skin. Filling the body with a luminescence of positive energy. Basking in that feeling of positive energy, using the in-breath and the out-breath to distribute that feeling of luminescent lightness down into the toes, into the fingers, into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of positive energy. And when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring your body back into this pose of Shavasana. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. Just bringing yourself back into the room, grounding yourself with the massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just come into cross legs with your hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that feeling of general well-being that comes from the extensions and the forward bends and the twists, and the inversions and the pranayama and the reclining poses. And then gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then send some of that positive energy, radiate it out into the world. And then when you're ready, just gently bring your hands down back onto your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy, given yourself a real feeling of lightness on the inside, a general sense of well-being. So thank you very much for joining me.